In all of Romantasy, Rhysand might be the character that readers obsess over the most. He's also the character who terrifies Feyre, coerces her, manipulates her, kidnaps her, and he has the power to kill everyone she loves without even lifting a hand. And that's the appeal. What? Rhysand is not a one-off. He is a type. The same figure shows up in stories new and old. A man with enormous power and every reason to be feared, often the one holding the heroine captive in the first place. But something shifts, something changes. He falls in love with her against his own nature and turns all of that power toward protecting her instead of hurting her. It's a protection fantasy. And it runs through some of the most popular, beloved romances ever told. Once you start looking for it, I promise you can't unsee it. So let's look at it, starting with ACOTAR. Feyre kills a wolf in the woods. It ends up being a fairy. She suspects maybe this is true, but she kills the wolf to feed her family. And by fairy law, at least as it's explained to the Archeron family, Feyre now owes a life debt. So Tamlin, in his beast form, shows up at their little cabin and threatens to either kill Feyre right then and there, or offers her a life of imprisonment in Prythian, in the fairy lands, where she'll likely be killed. So she goes along with him to the spring court to live out the rest of her days, away from her family, away from her life, away from her home. We learn that he's extremely powerful. He could kill her easily, and at first she lives in terror at the spring court. Everything's a threat, but tale as old as time. Something changes and they end up falling in love. This monstrous beast, who by his nature should not care about this human girl at all, chooses her anyway. He protects her, standing in between those who would harm her. Quick aside, readers love to hate on Tamlin the moment he locks Feyre in the Springcourt Manor after the whole ordeal under the mountain. Fair enough, that was awful. But why does the anger start there? She literally started off as his prisoner. After the ordeal under the mountain, his trauma, fear, and desire to protect her hardened into control. And the way he treated her was absolutely unacceptable. But it wasn't nearly as unacceptable as threatening to kill her or take her as a prisoner for killing Andras, one of his sentinels that he sent out as a trap. So yeah, be angry at Tamlin, but like, from the beginning? ACOTAR follows the same pattern again in book 2, but this time with a different leading man. Rhysand is the most powerful High Lord in the history of Prythian. He can, with a thought, wipe your mind clean. He can turn people into mist. When he visits Feyre in her cell under the mountain, it is very clear that he is not someone that she should trust. He strikes a bargain with her to keep her alive, and the price is a week every month at the night court with him for the rest of her life. He forces her to do things against her will. He degrades her in front of Amarantha's entire court. And only later do we learn that the cruelty was actually a mask, that he was trying to hide how much he cared for Feyre from Amarantha. He falls in love with her, suspecting that she is his mate, and he turns every dangerous, powerful thing about him toward one purpose: keeping her alive, keeping her safe. The strongest male in the world wants her, and he chooses to protect her instead of destroy her. ACOTAR didn't invent this. A Court of Thorns and Roses was partially a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. And the original, well, the Disney version that I'm familiar with, has the same shape. Belle's father wanders into the wrong castle and the beast locks him away. Belle goes to rescue her father and offers the beast her life instead. So she now belongs to this dangerous creature who, as far as she knows, plans on imprisoning her for life and could kill her at any moment. But the beast does not harm his captive. Instead, he falls in love with her, and she falls in love with him. He throws himself at the wolves that corner her in the woods and almost dies for it. He sacrifices her again, letting her go when her father needs her, knowing that if she leaves, the curse will never be broken and he'll be stuck in his beast form forever. There's this good person underneath it all, I guess, but He's still a monster that could tear her to shreds, who locked up her father and then who locked her up. But he's a monster that doesn't hurt her. Instead, he chooses her over and over again. Her safety, her well-being, her happiness over his own. A lot of readers met this dangerous protector trope in the form of one vampire in particular. I feel like Twilight is the textbook version of this trope. Edward is a vampire, and Bella's blood is the most tempting that he's ever come across. Being near her is a constant act of restraint because every instinct in him is telling him to kill her and drink her blood. But he doesn't kill her. Instead, he falls in love with her. He spends the whole story holding back the thing that he's supposed to do, that his instincts drive him to do. And instead, funnels all of that strength and power into protecting her from the vampires who would have her dead. 4 different stories, same trope. Each of the male main characters has the power to destroy the woman he loves, but every time he takes all of that power and uses it to protect her instead. I think the second part only really lands because of the first. A kind man protecting a woman is a nice story, but it doesn't really grab your attention the way a dangerous man deciding to protect the woman does. It's like the danger has to be real for the protection to really mean anything. The more that he could destroy her, the more it matters that he never does. And that gap is the protection fantasy. So why does it work so well? Why is it a trope to begin with? I want to be clear. I am not criticizing Sarah J. Maas or these other authors. I really enjoyed ACOTAR and Twilight and Beauty and the Beast. And I'm definitely not here to call out anyone for liking these stories like I do. I'm not trying to give you a value judgment on the trope. Authors use tropes because they work. The dangerous protector trope sells books. And I want to know why. Is it biology? Is it culture? Or does it just make for a really good story? The simplest explanation is that it just makes for a really good story. Maybe it's the tension of something that shouldn't work. The thrill or suspense of a romance with much higher stakes than what exists in real life. Maybe it's just the drama that people find entertaining. Or maybe it's biological. Maybe there's something in a woman's instincts that interprets a dangerous, powerful man as a potential valuable protector of herself and her children. Maybe at one point that meant a better chance of survival. So by that logic, the pull is older than romance itself, probably. It's survival wiring dressed up as a love story. The third possibility is that it's cultural, and this is the one that I think is the most likely explanation. So much of the appeal of the dangerous protector trope comes down to being chosen. The woman is so special, so unlike other women, that this man who fears nothing and who answers to no one, who would otherwise be her predator, chooses her anyway against his own instinct. That is being chosen in the most extreme form possible. It's cultural because the desire to be chosen, I think, is rooted in how many girls are socialized. For many girls, worth and identity and life trajectory is all in relation to men. They are seen as future wives and mothers, and they learn to see themselves in that way. Being chosen is the goal that society hands to them. A story about a dangerous man who chooses a woman against all odds is that same idea turned all the way up. If these stories teach women to read dangerous men as romantic, I worry that that pattern doesn't always just stay on the page. It could influence who they find compelling in real life and the behaviors they're willing to justify as love. Culture shapes the stories we tell, but the stories we tell also shape culture. The door swings both ways. So I think storytellers have some leverage here. Maybe I am making a value judgment on this trope because I think better tropes exist. Romeo and Juliet, big caveat without all of the kids dying, runs on the same engine or a similar engine. 2 people choosing each other against all odds. But the obstacle is different. It's not his nature or his power. It's the world around them, their families, the feud, the line that they were born on opposite sides of. So the divide is ideological and they choose each other anyway. Both tropes are built on impossible love. In one, we reframe the predator as a protector and lover. In the other, we reject the lines that divide us and the rules that tell us who we're allowed to love. I think we can do better. I think we need to tell better stories. That's all for now. Thanks so much for listening. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments. See you next time.